Hi, this is Ham Radio Reality. I'm G6PNH. How you doing? Now then, I went and bought myself a Baofeng Mini. I saw them knocking about. I seen one or two people using them. And I thought, well, I'll really give that one a go because it's a nice little radio. And I have been pleasantly surprised. Really pleasantly surprised. So what I've decided to do is give it a really good review, and I've got to ask a question and I'd like your opinion in the comments. This little radio does 2 meters, 70 centimeters and PMR 446. Does that make it a tri-bander? Let me know in the comments because I'm quite interested in your opinion. I'm very tempted to say yes it does because PMR is being used as a step up into ham radio. Now along the way, whilst I was testing this, you know, sometimes things happen by accident, don't they? Well, there was a little bit of an accident. Well, I wouldn't say an accident, I just decided to try something and the results were really surprising, in that there is something you can do with this little radio. For about 5 or 10 quid as well, you can get a permanent one. And it really improves the reception. And I'll show you what it is and I'll show the evidence. Carry on watching, but here's the review for this little Baofeng. Right, so what am I going to do in the review? Well, the idea was that first of all I'll have a look what's in the box. Now I don't normally do that, but when the box turned up it was a little bit battered and I had this feeling that it might not be absolutely brand new, that it might be a return. We'll have a look, see what you think. Then I'll have a look at the size and the feel of the radio, how easy it is to use. It comes with Bluetooth as well, so I'm going to have a quick play with the Bluetooth that goes through your phone, and I'll see how that works. But it also works on chirp as well, so that's not a problem. And of course, the what I'm going to look at is the reception and compare it to a couple of other radios. Also look at the sound quality both on transmit and receive. Right, so the first part then is what did I get in the box? Right, I love this bit. Run VT, because I did a quick video of me opening the box and having a look because I was a little bit wary. Yeah, just looking at the condition of the box and the packaging when it arrived, I thought it might just be a good idea to actually film opening the box, which I wouldn't normally do. I normally laugh when people do that, but let's have a look. So opening it up, there is a user manual. Looking at the condition of the user manual, I suspect this box has been opened before. Hello, two leads, 2 charging leads. Right, okay. So we've got the aerial, we've got the standard clip. Can't tell whether that's been opened or not, whether somebody's thrown the packaging away and just screwed it up. Important bit, the radio itself. That looks like it's been opened, doesn't it? Right, okay. And there's the battery. The packaging looks like it's been opened as well. So this looks like a returned item. In that case, then well, we'll still do it. We'll still put it together. We'll see if it is a returned item. It is. There we go. Can't tell whether or not that the aerial packaging has been opened. We'll see how it works. If necessary, we'll return it. It may just be, well, put it a bit further away for you. It may just be that somebody didn't like it and sent it back.
Frequency mode.
So straight away it's turning on. So we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so time to go and charge it. There is a charging port at the back. There we go. And I did notice that on the sales thing, and I love where that is. Right, let's go and charge it up, and then we'll come back and give it a bit of a play and see how we go on with it. Now it's out of the box. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at it. Right, you can see it's reasonably small. Um, it still feels quite good quality. In fact, for a lot of the Baofengs that I've been using in the past, the 5R and the GT3B, whatever it is. Sorry, it actually feels really, really good quality. And when you start pressing the buttons on it as well, that is really good quality. The menu is easy to read. The screen is easy to read. I don't know if that's coming up on the video or not. Now, there is a thing about it though. The menus, although it's easy to read, and of course the lady's there as well, when you open it up on the menu, there's a menus within menus. Hello, we're getting a little bit like, where is everything? And it did get a little bit confusing. For instance, if you want to set the radio up, oh, it's gone off now. You can set. You go to radio set, press the menu again, and you got things like the steps, the frequency steps, the squelch, the power save, the Vox switch on and off the Vox level, all your delays, your language, your Roger bleep, whether you want a Roger bleep on or not, and so on. It goes on. One thing that it will do as well is alter that little side button. There are two press to talk keys for the A and the B. It doesn't matter if you press the wrong one. If you haven't got it on dual watch, which is another thing, if you haven't got it on dual watch, don't worry about it, it'll automatically jump to the right one for you. But down at the bottom of the little pressy key, you can reprogram that quite easily, and I've reprogrammed it to scan, because you can pick up commercial radio. Its default is to press that once and you're on to commercial radio. However, once I've reprogrammed it, I have noticed that I cannot get it back onto commercial radio without telling it to use that button. So just a little thing. Now then, I'm just looking at the radio again. If you go down then to programming channels, it's there that you get to put in all the things, including, now this is what got me, is the transmission power. The transmission power is not on the main menu, so you do need to scroll through. Now, having said that as well, the Bluetooth menu is on there, and it's down as wireless, and there's radio info on there as well. Right, so in terms of being able to see the screen, brilliant. Menus, you're going to have to get your head around it. Having said that, once you're in and you've got your head around it, actually working it in the field is reasonably easy. So much so that once I programmed in the frequencies, I was happy to play about with it and do the setups myself using the actual radio. I wouldn't have liked to have put all the frequencies in bit by bit. There were two options to do that. One was via Bluetooth. Now then, it's the radio sort of sells on the fact that it also does Bluetooth. However, there is a however, it was a little bit complicated to use. You have to download the app onto your phone. Once you've done that, you then need to connect to the radio, which is fine. That's what you'd expect. But they're messing about with the program as well. In the end, I give up. What was the point? Because you plug it into Chirp, chirp, you can see it like a spreadsheet, like any other part of chirp, like any other radio that you plug in. I copied and pasted from a Quansheng onto that, which has got all the frequencies that I wanted straight onto that. PMRs, the simplex frequencies, 2 meters, 10 centimeters, and all the local and a bit further away repeaters, gateways, etc. Copy, paste, job done. Through the Bluetooth, it wasn't as easy as that. Not as easy at all. If you want me to do a video on the actual Bluetooth and the chirp as well, I'm happy to do that, but you will need to let me know in the comments. If enough people want it, I'll do it. There's no problem. Now, what I did say was as well, we'd look at the audio quality. Now, with the audio quality both on transmit and receive, I've got to admit, it was fairly good. It was fairly good. If you've got a strong signal, and I'll show you the results in a minute, if you've got a strong signal, then yes, this is a nice radio to listen to. If it's a weaker signal, there's a lot of hissing, and that's to be expected. It's going to be a smaller speaker in there. I can't remember what it was. I think it was down as 1 watt on the speaker. Now the quality of the transmission as well was equal to the Quansheng, and I'm going to show you both now. Just have a look at the reception with the Radtel, because the Radtel's got a reasonably nice sound. So we'll just compare the two.
This is G6BNH, Golf 6 Papa November Hotel. Doing an audio reception test for the Baofengmini. G6BNH, this is G6BNH. Doing an audio test for the Radtel.
Now for the reception. Now the reception, I've got to admit, we've done before with these little radios, and I did exactly the same experiment again. So GB3RF is a repeater that I can just pick up with a handheld in one room only. So I did the experiment the same as I did a past experiment. However, something right at the end, something sort of said, well, I'll just try a different antenna. Initially I tried its own antenna and then an aftermarket antenna, and I compared that with Quansheng. I also compared it to a Yaesu VX5? Hang on a minute, I'll get it out. Here we go. Yep, VX5. It's 20 odd years old, is that, if not a little bit more. I'm just trying to think how old it is. 25 years old. The reception is quite good on it, but it does show you quite clearly what level of reception you're getting, what the signal strength is. So I compared it to that as well, which you might think is a bit unfair, but no, it doesn't matter. You'll be surprised what happened. Now, having said that, the one thing on the signal strength, I'm waving the radios back, one thing on the signal strength was that the signal meter is basically low, medium and high. It will not tell you the same as a Yaesu what your signal strength is, which for me is a little bit of a shame, because if I wanted to set this walking, if I wanted to do sorter, porter, something like that, I do like giving a decent report for people, and people understand and know what's happening, particularly with the sorters. So that's a little bit of a letdown for me, which is a little bit of a shame. But watch this next video. This is the video of the signal strengths, so the incoming reception. Now, to do this range test, it's a reception range test, by the way, not a transmission. So to do this test where, I'm in the only room in the house that can pick up GB3 RF with a handheld. And so what I've done first is to use the stock aerial. So we've got the Mini, we've got a Quansheng, and we've got a Yaesu. Now the Yaesu I'm using is the VX5, which is 20 odd years old, but it's still a good receiver. If you look down there, you can see that the reception is between 2 and 3. With Quansheng, it's difficult to tell what the reception is, and with the Baofeng, it should be giving me a reception report on there at the bottom, and it's not doing. Having said that, the signal is very, very weak. The noise that you can hear is coming from the Baofeng, so we'll just turn that down for a second. We'll turn up the Quansheng, and you can hear the audio's a little bit better with that, and even better still with the Yaesu, which is what you would expect. The nice thing is that the Baofeng is still receiving, even though it's not receiving anywhere near as good as the Yaesu. But I won't expect that. I certainly won't expect that for the money. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change from the stock aerial with the Baofeng and the the Yaesu. I haven't got an extra stock aerial to change the Quansheng as well at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll change the Yaesu and the Baofeng, and we'll see how it performs from there. And well, here's the big surprise. I have now got aftermarket aerials on both the Baofeng and the Yaesu. I'll just bring the Yaesu in a little bit more for you. If you look, the Yaesu signal has gone up to a signal strength of 4, which I would expect. Some very nice audio on that as well, as I would expect. However, absolutely nothing from the Baofeng. And I find that absolutely unbelievable that an aftermarket aerial that's supposed to be better than the stock aerial, so you just quick flash of reception, then absolutely unbelievable that it's not working. Right, so just to check out the antenna, I shall swap the stock antenna on the Quansheng for the aftermarket one, just to make sure it's not that's the problem. Well, here's another surprise. The Quansheng is working perfectly fine, so that antenna, this is the aftermarket antenna, is working perfectly fine. You hear it on the Quansheng. Here is the biggest surprise. Just out of curiosity, I put the Quansheng antenna onto the Baofeng, and I'm getting a better reception. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm getting a better reception from the Quansheng antenna than I am from the stock antenna for the Baofeng and the aftermarket one. If you look very, very carefully, you can see there the signal strength meter. And if you look carefully, the signal strength meter is actually working, which is another bonus. Let's just see if we can just zoom that in a little bit more, shall we? Let's just, if you just look at the left hand side, let's move around a little bit as well. You can see there, that's the signal strength meter. It's not brilliant. You can't tell exactly what the signal strength is, not like the Yaesu, which tells you straight off. But that is absolutely fascinating, that the Quansheng aerial works better than the aftermarket one or the stock aerial. So there we go, there's your surprise. Now we're going to have a quick look at the transmitted audio, and that's going to be followed by the 2 power outputs.
This is G6PNH Golf 6 Papa November Hotel, doing an audio test with Baofengmini. Mary had a little lamb as fleece as white as snow. Wherever Mary went, that lamb was sure to go. This is G6PNH doing an audio test with the Quansheng. Mary had a little lamb, his fleece as white as snow. Wherever Mary went, that lamb was sure to go. G6PNH is doing an audio test with the Yaesu 4X. Mary had a little lamb, his fleece as white as snow. Wherever Mary went, that lamb was sure to go.
Let's have a quick look at the power output. So there we go, set on low power. So what's the reading there? About 2.5 watts. Okay, so let's change it now to the high power. And it says a full 5 watts. That's lovely, isn't it? A full 5 watts. Right, so yes, the Quansheng, and here we go. The Quansheng antenna actually performs better than the stock antenna and an aftermarket antenna. Brilliant. I only tried it by accident. Absolutely love it. Overall then, this radio I think is really nice. I got it for 20 quid, just over, from, believe it or not, Amazon, and I'm going to say other online retailers are available. I did have a wait of about 2 weeks, and I suspect that it's come from exactly the same place if I'd have bought it off one of the Chinese ones like AliExpress. Having said that, I am happy with it. Was this a return? I think it possibly was, and even the cover on the screen was missing, and as you can see from opening the box, you know, a bit and there were 2 leads in there. Right, okay, bonus. That's another point as well. Before we do disappear, the charging lead is on the back there. That means you can stand it up and charge it at the same time, which is something you can't do with the Radtel, and something that's not quite as easy with the Quansheng because it's in the side. This lovely, absolutely lovely place, and it also means it's easier for me to use with a battery pack. I do like this radio. I really do. I didn't even bother putting the belt clip on because I thought it'll go in the bag nicely, and it does. It fits nicely, it disappears. It's not as bulky, it's not quite as heavy, although it's neither here nor there. I really do like this radio, and it's clear to see. Perhaps the downside is that if it had been 10 watts, but what the hell, it receives quite well with this Quansheng aerial on as well, and the difference, certainly the difference between this and a Quansheng in terms of reception is neither here nor there. Not quite as good as the Yaesu, but I won't expect that anyway. I really wouldn't have expected that. Value for money, absolutely brilliant, loving it. I'm G6PNH. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Ham Radio Reality saying 7-3 to everybody.